as we've been reporting, President Biden gave his first solo news conference since November. And his first since a poor debate showing against Donald Trump last month raised questions about his ability to keep running for president. During the conference, he said he's staying in the race.
There are at least 5 presidents running or incumbent presidents who had lower numbers than I have now, later in the campaign. So there's a long way to go in this campaign. And so I'm just going to keep moving. And because, look, I got more work to do. We've got more work to finish.
CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins me now from the Washington Convention Center, where the president just held that press conference. Congressional correspondent Nikole Killion with us as well. Nancy, the keep moving sort of feels like a message encapsulating his goal as the president, but also in running for president. The campaign message, just keep moving, keep calm and carry on.
Right. Keep moving because, as he made the case here in this press conference tonight, it's very difficult for anyone else at this point to launch a campaign from a standing start. He said very bluntly that you can't get things going that quickly. He's already in the race. He's got the campaign headquarters spread out all over the country. He's got the money. He's got the campaign apparatus. Nobody else does. So he said, yes, maybe there are other people who could beat Trump, but they are not as entrenched in this race as I am. And the more time that goes on, obviously, where he continues to be the presumptive nominee, the shorter that window becomes than it is already. And so basically, the case he was making is the process of elimination. Yeah, there are great people out there, but it's not as simple as flipping on a light switch to become a presidential nominee. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of money that goes into it. And he was basically making the case, I've got it. I've got the staff, I've got the money, and no one else does.
Nancy, at the end of the press conference, it was off mic. I believe it was NBC's Peter Alexander shouted a question about the gap that we've talked about, right, in which the president, instead of saying Vice President Kamala Harris, said Vice President Trump. And Peter Alexander said, Republicans are already using this against you. What's your response? And he said, listen to him. What do you take that to mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. So Peter actually asked him about the fact that Donald Trump himself was already making fun of Joe Biden for that mistake on social media, on Truth Social, basically mocking Biden for mixing those names up. And so Peter asked him what he makes of the fact that Trump is already making fun of him for that, and obviously is going to continue to going forward. And that's when the president said, listen to him, as if to say, hey, you're all paying attention to the mistakes that I make, but my opponent makes a lot of mistakes, too. He says a lot of outlandish things. You should pay more attention to the things he says than the things I say.
Nikole, we already have one House Democrat who, since this press conference, has come out adding his voice to the now some 13, 14 that we have asking for the president to step aside.
Yeah, that's right. And again, it's just a matter of, could we potentially see those calls continue to grow? You know, some were looking to this news conference as a potential gauge of whether or not they feel the president has the stamina to continue in this race. Others, wanted to see how he does for the next several days, how he does on the campaign trail, how he does in more of these unscripted events. But that being said, there are still many people, many congressional Democrats who say, irrespective of all these different events, that they still stand by the president. We know that a number of his aides were up on Capitol Hill earlier today talking to Senate Democrats, and several of them, while they didn't want to discuss the contents of that meeting, those who did support the president say that they continue to stand by him. There were other senators who emerged from that meeting who said they still have questions. They want to continue this conversation. So this is going to be an internal deliberation for Democrats writ large, because it really is a member-by-member decision as they decide whether to stick with the president or to break with the president. And as you mentioned, we're a little over the dozen mark, but when you can take in totality the numbers of members of Congress, over 200 congressional Democrats, it's still a relatively small number in comparison. The question is, will it grow?
Nikole, Killion, and Nancy Cordes, thank you both so much.